see the chat, or is it just you? Because I'm always confused about that.
So I don't know if you can see the screen. So like right now, there's no one in the chat room, but it'll like when people appear, the number appears in the upper right hand corner, so you can see who's available.
Yeah. I see that, but I've never done that. I think I've joined one YouTube stream before.
Uh,
Else, but I was like, people were asking me questions in the chat, and I was like, I can't see it. I can't answer. I can't see it.
Monle Fern is gonna go crazy when he sees you here.
Oh, really? Does he know that I'm gonna come on?
I have his real name, but I don't want to use his real name, without permission, because he told me his real name, and so I confused him with you when I said, remember when I thought you gave me your real name in the chat room? No, that was he who did that. He
Yeah,
gave me his real name in the chat room.
yeah.
So but yeah, I don't want to use his name without his permission, but yeah, he's even shared some of my videos on his channel.
I
Yeah.
haven't think I don't know. I've probably been to his channel before, but I can't recall it. I visited a couple of people's channels, so I don't know.
Okay. So I put your name. I added your name in the title so that people can click directly on it, because
Oh yeah,
YouTube changed it last year where instead of putting, you used to have to put the person's like link in the actual like title to get people to click on it, but now you can just use their YouTube handle,
yeah,
and
exactly. Yeah.
and you can go directly to their channel like that.
What else do you need? I gave you all this stuff that
Yeah, so so if anyone is interested, they'll just be able to click directly on your channel to see your stuff.
Oh
I
yeah,
was
that's you didn't have to though. Like I just thought it was a requirement to go live with me, but I'm like, you
Oh
don't
no,
you
no, I just wanted to make sure that people are able
know,
to, see your stuff. There's someone
cool.
sitting the yachty. He says hi. I might have to put on my glasses just so I can see him.
This is a girl.
Yes,
Yeah, I'm a
it's a
girl.
girl. Hold on.
Um,
Let me get my glasses, my reading glasses. That is.
Uh,
So they're gonna tease me for being a nerd when I put these on.
oh, don't worry about that. I'm a
Well, I'm
nerd
not.
too.
Well, I'm
Nerd
not. At
club.
the end of the day, I can do Muay Thai, so I'm not worried about them.
I'm thinking of turning. Wait, give me a second. I'm turning this light off because it's just
Okay.
dark, but it's better because it's irritating. I don't know. I don't have much lighting, and
Yeah, I needed my glasses because I didn't know whether that was a Y or a V in his name.
oh, okay.
So sitting the Yati Gaming. So yeah, so yeah, we can talk about some of the stuff we talked about yesterday. I
Yeah, whatever.
told I told Mrs. Contrarian that we had a chat and that
Oh yeah. Say
I
hi to her. Is she watching? Is she here?
no, she's not in America. She's in the Philippines.
Yeah, I know, but I mean in the chat.
Oh no, she's asleep. It's
Oh, all right.
I told her she can watch it on replay.
Oh yeah, she sure can. So I say, hello, Mrs. Contrarian.
Yeah. So she'll see it on the replay. But I was like, she's a musician, right? She was like, no, really? I was like, yeah. I was
Told
like,
you that. I
I was
told
like,
you.
I was like, check out her channel. I was like, she got videos uploaded, and I was like, there's no way you should only have like 221 subscribers. I was like, you should have like at least 10,000 by now.
Yeah,
'Cause,
but once you stop feeding the algorithm, people stop engaging, and I get that. So I'm not really like forcing anybody, and it's just
but
it
was
just
there
makes
more?
so.
Did there used to be more subs then?
No, but it grew pretty well. Once I was like uploading stuff, people were really like they're asking for new content, and I'm like, yeah, I'd love to, but my health and everything comes first right now, and my equipment and all that stuff. So, and yeah, people don't really understand it when you're not in your shoes, and I can't really. I'm not mad at them, but it can be really like difficult to deal with the pressure to release stuff when you're in such a bad state and you can't really do anything about it. So that's
Uh,
that's
what's
that's
up,
the thing.
Terrence?
So
So
I'm
yeah,
hello, Terrace.
So the YouTube algorithm like is like it constantly wants you to feed them because
Yeah,
that's why I noticed a lot of some of the older YouTubers who became really big
yeah.
decided to quit YouTube just because they got tired of that whole like hamster wheel where they gotta keep feeding that algorithm to keep it going. But some of these guys were like really big, like Matt Pat from Game Theory. He quit.
Time, I
His,
think.
his his channels are still up, but he's not doing it anymore. He gave it to his people who work on his team. Matt Pat is he's pretty famous. Like he did game theory, film theory, food theory, style theory, and he ended up actually doing had a minor cameo appearance in that movie. What's uh, it was a horror movie last year. It was about like the animatronic animals, sort of like Chuck E. Cheese pizza
Oh.
here in America, where they turned evil and they like were killing people. So it's called Five Nights at Freddy's, I think. Have you heard of that? I
Mm,
think there's a video game as well, Five Nights at Freddy's.
I don't know. I know a couple of other channels who just also quit because they just couldn't keep up with the pressure, and they were like producing extremely high quality
Yeah,
videos.
yeah,
It was like a skit, I would say, like humor comedy stuff that they did, and they were upping the production game all the time, and then but with the same amount of people, and they were like, oh, it's not feasible anymore, we're just breaking our backs to just, you know, hit like the algorithm in time because the production got more and more intense, but the time frame was keeping the same. So they were like, yeah, we got burnout now, we're just sick of it, we just got ill. And it happened to me too, because when you do everything on your own, I produced like a shot and produced a music video and finished a song in 1 week, like everything in 1 week, and I was not sleeping anymore. And yeah, I got a complete physical breakdown then, like not mentally but physically, because the stress brought like all this stuff out, and I lost my voice because inflammation got so bad, and I was like, I can't. And then people even complained. That was so like, why am I
complained
even?
that you weren't. They were complaining that you hadn't done anything new.
No, they were complaining about the quality then.
Oh,
Even
yeah.
then,
So that yeah, that can get
that
crazy. I
really,
understand because like it doing this sometimes throws off my schedule as well.
yeah, I,
Like
yeah.
luckily I'm working at home. That's why I can do this. So if I was at the office, I would have had to do it another day because like usually we don't get off to like 5. We work from like 10 to 5, and usually it's just us. I work at for a mortgage lender. Like we call people looking for leads to try to help them either buy homes, sell homes, refinance homes,
Yeah.
stuff like that. Boring stuff like that. So I don't want to get into that. But
No, it's okay.
uh-oh. I think
Just
she
pause.
said.
My gosh, I almost flipped over my phone. I'm frozen. I'm still here. Hello.
Okay, we can still hear you.
Oh man, I'm frozen. That's a really funny picture. I just closed some background stuff and now it's just frozen.
It might
Oh,
have to.
refresh it or something? Is there an
You
option?
might have to refresh it.
I can't. How can I do that? It's just
Um,
a button on the left and flip the
maybe
camera.
minimize it and bring it back up.
I already did that. Up now, I can't do that.
Hmm.
What? Sorry, now it's
Or
just a
or
camera.
or you might have to go out and just come back in with the same link.
All right.
That might do it.
So yeah, I'm gonna come back. I'll try.
Okay, no problem.
Wait, no, it's not working. I can't refresh it. I'm sorry.
Oh, I was saying. So guys, she should be back. So as you know, that's a special guest, Miss Needle. She's actually one of the people who's always in the chat room, and we actually connected on Instagram. So I asked her after checking out her channel and saw that she actually was a talented musician, if she ever like to come on my channel and talk about her music and stuff like that. But what are you talking about, guy? She's not been in a ton of movies. That's not, you're thinking of. I think you're mistaken her for someone else. Um, Let me make sure that she's okay, that she can get back into the channel. Guys, give me a second. Mm, Okay. You have to try to get back. Okay. Can you use the link so it can bring you back in? There we go. All right, no problem.
Yeah, my Instagram load, and I was like, I can't open it.
Can can you still see the chat? So one guy thinks, he said, oh no,
I have to scroll up. Give me a second. My friends.
oh, do you see it when I scroll, or can you scroll on your own?
I can scroll on my own.
Oh, okay. So yeah, one guy I got confused, but I thought he was talking about you. He was saying his friend is a producer and worked on movies and stuff. I don't know what he's talking about. Like, I think,
Irish friend. Yeah.
you know, during this time of day, you get a lot of weirdos from overseas. Not
Oh,
you, of course, but but like, you know, here in America, like if I stream during the daytime, I get a lot of people from overseas that are weird
yeah. I
sometimes.
don't think it's weird. He just shared an experience about his friend that is a film producer, and he was flying around and meeting with. He never got the job basically, and people were just screwing him over. That's how I understand it. So
Yeah, it is hard to make it. Yeah,
really,
I confused what he was saying. I'm sorry.
it's not weird, at least from my perspective. Just sharing.
Oh no, I just wasn't paying attention because I was looking at. He was talking about his friend, and I confused him. I thought he was talking about you at first. I'm like, huh? What are you talking about? I'm sorry, Irish friend. Stephen Knight is being a troll though, so he can be timed out. You always get these. I don't know why these people come on here with these little racist tropes. Like, it's not even funny. Like,
What was he saying? I hear you're talented. Yeah, I suppose so. How about you talk about the world is ending? How about the world government's becoming?
no, that's a weird. Just some weirdo. Like I said, you get a lot of weirdos. So
I would go into, but yeah. So I don't mind.
But yeah, so like I was telling them while you were gone, I was like, you know, you always come in the chat room, and then I actually, you know, clicked on your channel one day when after you left a comment on the video, and I was like, wait, I was like, oh, that's really her in the
of course,
nighttime. So I didn't know that was you. I thought it was just like a
avatar.
Yeah, like an avatar. And I was like, oh, that's actually her. And then I clicked on the videos, and I was like, wait, oh, she's actually a musician. I was like, that's pretty cool.
I think I told you sometime before, but you probably missed a comment that I'm writing music and all that, and you probably missed it, but it's okay. Like I'm not self-promoting, you know. I was just sharing stuff, like I'm creative and all that. Sorry, I have to hit you on the wall. I missed it.
Well, I think when you're in the entertainment industry, you do have to do a little bit of shameless promotion. So
yeah, but
media and social media influencers are the worst. Like, they have no problem doing it. I haven't done so yet, but I don't consider myself an influencer or like content creator like that. I literally was just making videos just because a friend of mine who I went to with uh, the other person in that video of me at Jollibee's in America. He's the one who told me like 3 years ago. He kept telling me for years. He's like, man, he's like, you should start doing videos because he was like, it's so funny. And I'm like, yeah, maybe.
Yeah, it's a lot of
And I
work.
ended up started doing it 2 years ago, and
Yeah.
here we are now.
Said something. No, it's not weird. I don't think so. At least it's not weird what he said, but
All right, let me answer this guy. Like,
yeah, but
so first, let me say this to Salty White Man. Like, the reason I was saying it's weird is because it has nothing to do with what we're talking about right now, Salty. But usually, if somebody wants to bring up something irrelevant to what's being talked about in the video, you can bring it up in the super chat and I'll answer it. So this is the first time, so I'll give you that grace. But then on, if you are going to bring up something that has anything to do with something not dealing with the content we're talking about right now, then do it in the super chat because it derails the conversation. But he said, how about we talk about the world is ending, or how about the world government's becoming the god? Again, I think that's a pretty schizophrenic comment. And
I don't think it's so far off, actually. So I think it's quite an interesting thing to talk about. But I know it's off topic, so I'm not gonna go into it. But I don't find it too far off, actually.
Well, I'm coming in from a psychological perspective. Like, why would you like feel that's something rational to say? Like
why would you feel it?
Yeah, because like he's saying rejecting your human rights if you think a certain way. So first of all, the world isn't ending. People have been predicting that since literally the fall of the Roman Empire. Like in the Bible, when they started talking about in the very last book of the Bible,
the Book of Revelation. Yeah,
the Revelations, they talk about the end of the world. For them, the end of the world was the fall of the Roman Empire.
No, it's actually no. The Book of Revelation is about future, at least for my faith. It's about future events. So
it was about the future events, but I'm saying for them that would have been the future. That was hundreds of years into the future for them, the fall of the Roman Empire.
All right.
Because in that time, like Judea was currently a province under the Roman Empire. So for them, the what was the modern world for them would have been Pax Romana. Now it's Pax Americana. Like for us, we would say the world is ending if America fell apart, right? So it's sort of a similar thing, but anyway, I'm not trying to get into a religious debate, but the point being is there's always a bunch of conspiracy theorists talking about the world is ending. Or if you watch Ghostbusters, like that movie, like there's always people talking about, oh, the world is going to end. So there's no Gozer the Gozerian coming to end the world. There's no what's the other ghost?
Yeah, I always say, that's some people just look at the world differently, and actually, for myself, I mean, it's a whole big story. What got me into that, but so I think there's actually a lot of things coming true, that are
true. So this is why being a history nerd is good, because like when he's saying rejecting human rights, you realize back in those times there were no human rights. During the medieval era, there were no human rights. Like you were a peasant, or a serf. Like if you weren't a noble or part of the royal family, no one cared about your life or your rights. Like up until the 1800s, no one cared about human rights. Like that was just not a thing. So rejecting your human rights is not. I don't get that. Like that's not. Up until modern times, life was short, nasty, and brutish. So there was no. I don't know how people have this sort of nostalgia for like the ancient period of human history, which was a very horrible time to live in for poor people, for women, for children, for people who are not the majority in that country. Like, we're living like
Yeah.
I would recommend people read a book, Steven Pinker, The Better Angels of Our Nature, which tracks historically and statistically why we're living in the best of times. Is we're living in times that's less violent than any other period in human history. We're living in a time where there's less poverty and starvation than any other period of human history. Yes,
Yeah,
there's
but
still a lot of progress to be made. To ignore all the progress that has come about in the last 6,000 years would be foolish. So that should answer Salty Whiteman. And if he wants any more in-depth perspective of that, I'll just put you on super chat and I'll answer it in a long verse.
yeah, it's a whole big thing. But
And even your Irish friend says, yeah, Salty kind of off topic. So people get what I'm saying. And
yeah,
thank you, your Irish friend. Says bless all of you, and I hope your hard work pays off. I'm out, dudes. Yeah, it's probably late where he is. I don't
I
know
don't
what
know.
time it is in Ireland, but I'm guessing it might be similar to your time, around
No,
10
it's too late.
p.m.
Yeah,
Okay.
I mean, if you gotta get up, I gotta get up early too. But I it's a good way. Like right
So
now, timing, so that's okay.
Salty, again, you're off topic. And yes, I've read 1984 George Orwell over 20 years ago. I also read his book Animal Farm, and I've also read some of George Orwell's essays. So I'm pretty well equipped in Orwellian writing. So you're talking to a nerd. I know this stuff. Like, you're not saying anything new under the sun to me. It's just that it's completely off topic, and you talking about something completely off topic is kind of schizo. That's what I'm saying. You're being schizo. Like, you're just offering random thoughts on stuff in a live stream without looking at the actual content. It's not normal.
You're the host, so it's your rules, I guess. I never did a live stream on my own, but yeah, I'd be like, as long as it's not
No, I
really.
mean sometimes I answered this question though. I did answer this question, but I was letting him know that it's just off-putting to come into a live stream and offer a thought that has nothing to do like for instance, like if we were talking about like Transformers toys and then someone talks about the end of the world, wouldn't that be like completely off and random? Like if we're talking about Transformer toys and like someone talks about,
I
oh,
would
it's the end of
find
the
it,
world.
actually, because that's how I do conversations with people all the time, because we're jumping from topic to topic in daily life. So I personally don't mind it, but if it's your, I get it where you're coming from. So I'm not criticizing you for saying, oh yeah, let's stay on topic. I get it, to get more like structure and stuff. But for me personally, I don't mind it. I'm really like,
All
whatever.
right,
It's
well,
interesting. But if it's long as it's not like weird in some way to me, or like
well, that's,
assaulting or something, or I
well,
don't
that's
gotta.
fair. That's fair. So if we get any other little random comments, you can feel free to answer them.
Yeah,
but
sure.
yeah, tell us more about your music because that's what I want people to get to know more about you and your music career and stuff like that. Plus, I
Might
want to know too.
call it a career.
Well, or hobby, whichever your passion, I should say. It's like
Yeah, I think because hobby is too small to say. I guess, but so I started playing. No, I started writing lyrics when I was 12.
mm,
In my mother tongue, like in German, and then I switched over to English pretty soon. And I always wanted to play in a band, but it never worked out because um, like in school, I always never talked about it, that I was playing guitar and teaching myself everything basically, and got the old guitar from my mom. I still have it. It's not that great. It's very hard to play on it actually, because it's quite a thick neck and everything, and when you're beginning, and my feet hurt, and it's a lot of work. And so I practiced every day for like 5 weeks or something, and I watched lots of online lessons, and I never paid for any lesson actually. It was all free content on YouTube. And
so you never received formal lessons. This is all self-taught.
yeah, everything. Like pay all I do creatively, everything is self-taught, because it physically couldn't go anywhere. And we
Oh,
didn't have money. So that's and also I went to, I think, one guitar lesson thing, and the problem was it was so beginner level that I already like was boring myself. And so I was like, no, I'm not gonna go there and pay for
that's
something I already know how to do. So
That's that's amazing. Like
ah,
that's similar to me with martial arts. Well, not completely because I have had formal instruction, but like when I first started learning when I was, I'm gonna say 7 years old. I started doing judo. Like it wasn't even a choice. Like my parents told me, "Hey, you gotta either take judo or karate. Choose one." And I had to take swimming lessons because they wanted me to be able to protect myself and know how to swim.
yeah, that's actually smart. That's actually a good thing to do, I think. But you know,
And
okay, keep talking.
oh,
Sorry.
sorry. So I started doing that for about a year, and then I started liking it. So I was like, "Yeah, I want to learn karate." And I didn't start learning that till I was about 13, and I did that for a year as well. Then
Were
after
you
that, I started
up a
start
sports
teaching
club
myself.
with other kids? Oh, how
What's
what
that?
is the person? Was it where you were like in a sports club with other kids, or like a
Well,
team?
the first one I took judo was at the YMCA.
Okay,
I don't know if they have YMCA in Germany, but
I don't know. I heard of it, but I guess maybe we have something similar. But I
it
mean,
stands for Young Men's Christian Association, but it's literally just a place where you can
oh,
similar to like it's similar to like a community college where you can go learn random stuff. Like
okay.
they have like stuff where you can learn knitting or martial arts or yoga or swimming or all sorts of stuff. Um, and so
That's interesting.
Robo Trippin says white women are so beautiful. So he's referring to you, I suppose.
Appreciate that compliment. Thank you very much. I don't think it has to do with skin color, though. I think there's beautiful people and women in every country, actually.
Well, he's
Really.
right. He's right. You're pretty, so you know.
Yeah, thank you very much.
But
I'm like that
yeah.
people like say that.
So
Uh,
I started learning there. The place when I started learning karate, well, technically it wasn't karate. It was I started learning taekwondo. Was at like a typical martial arts dojo in a strip mall. It's your typical American strip mall in the 80s and
okay,
90s.
kind of funny.
Well, it was called Kim's Karate, but like I said, it was actually taekwondo. Um, and I started doing that for a year, but then I started teaching myself, like going to the library and
Oh,
getting like all sorts of martial arts books. I started buying martial arts magazines at the time, like Black Belt magazine and stuff like that. Watching a bunch of movies and start teaching myself well beyond the experience that I was at the dojo. At the dojo, I was only a white belt, but the stuff I had learned was well beyond my belt level. And then after I stopped going there, I just kept learning well until I was about um, I'm gonna say like 18, 19 when I started taking more formal lessons in other martial arts. And so like it's been like a lot of the stuff has been self-taught, and then I would get formal lessons to sort of like show me how to actually do the stuff correctly. But now it's much easier to be self-taught martial arts because you can get all the stuff on YouTube for free that you had to pay for back in the day. Like,
I mean, you're older than me, but when I grew up, I think there was actually a lot more on YouTube, in some sense.
well, there was no YouTube for me back
Yeah,
then.
I get it. In your time, there was like,
It was all so you had to get everything like on VHS or later DVD to
oh yeah,
find
VHS.
this and stuff. Because
We had VHS though. I grew
yeah,
up with
because
cassettes and the floppy disk, I think, or something like that. We still had those like stuff.
yeah, because there was no World Wide Web before '94, so there was nothing like
No,
there was
not those.
no way to download the stuff
Yeah.
or upload videos, and even in the early versions of the World Wide Web, like there wasn't a lot of martial arts content you could find. That
Mhm.
wasn't until like way later on. Um, but yeah, like you were saying with your music, a lot of the stuff that I did was like self-taught, but then I ended up getting formal instruction. Like especially when I started traveling, I actually started doing like I think it added a deeper level of authenticity to my martial arts because, like, when I actually traveled overseas, I actually got to do the stuff in the actual countries where it came from. So I actually got to do Muay Thai in Thailand and Filipino martial arts in Arnis in Philippines, Pencak Silat in Indonesia, um, stuff like that. So, it kind of added to the authenticity. And I started doing, started some boxing here in America. Like, I actually um, got some boxing lessons at my school through HBO Boxing.
Oh, okay.
Like, yeah, they actually came to my school and let me do some pad work. And the guy was like, he's like, man, are you trained? I was like, nah, I was like, I just do martial arts. He was like, okay. And they actually put me on video on HBO at the time. I don't know if it ever aired, if they ever aired that footage, but they had footage of me like actually practicing doing pad work with one of their boxers on HBO. And they were asking me questions at the time about the boxers who were important at the time, like my opinion on who should have won certain fights or whatever. And I was like, yeah, I think such and such. And so I don't know if it ever aired, but I possibly might have been on HBO back in like 2000.
Oh wow.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
so it's been a journey.
After that, I mean, we had some activities, but either the teachers who did the like a choir or something, and she was like the music teacher. She was crazy in some sense, and we had lots of crazy teachers. Goodbye, Salty Whiteman, by the way. Yeah, so I didn't really want to join it. I was like, no, I'm gonna do it on my own. And also my other music teacher, because people think, oh, when you're a musician, you probably really were good in music and all that. No, I wasn't. I mean, I understood some theory, but pretty much I learned it without theory, and I write music without theory, without anything. It's just completely intuitive. So I have no
my
theory
only
background.
my only
And
form of I'm sorry. I was about to say my only form of instruction in music was chorus back in the 8th grade. And what sucked was I didn't know how to write music or do the the music writing because apparently they must have done it in a previous grade, so I was already expected to know this stuff.
oh yeah.
And I was failing because I was like, well, they were doing it. They were giving us exams on chorus. I'm like, why are we getting exams on this stuff? And I tried to explain to the teacher, like, I've never done this stuff. Like, in my previous school, and when I lived in another state, I lived in Illinois, we never had music instruction. So when I moved back to Maryland, we had to take chorus, and I was expected to know this stuff. Like, it was like a prerequisite for the class. And I was failing, so I didn't know what I was doing. So I had no formal music instruction beyond that chorus class. Like, I could sing, but I didn't know, like, the notes and all that sort of stuff. I had no idea what any of those that note were like. So I was completely in the dark about that stuff.
Oh yeah, me too, but for different reasons, because we had all the time we had changing teachers in music because they just got sick or admitted to like psychiatric hospitals or something like that. I'm not I'm not joking. And so we had like we just didn't have any lessons because the teacher wasn't there. And then we had like one year we had a new teacher, and she was asked to she was expecting us to know all of it. And I was completely like, I don't know how to do this. I felt incredibly stupid, and I really put in hard work when I didn't understand something to really get behind it and improve. Like I wasn't like failing the class or anything, but you know,
I
I
was, because I didn't know what I was doing.
exactly, and I had my strength subject, and music wasn't one of them. And the other teacher we had, he was ex-military, but he was not a cool guy. He was so, I don't know, just
I feel
no. I
saying,
like this guy, and um, he was asking me. He was testing me every single time we had a lesson. Just me. He was always like putting me on the test and putting me on the front board and stuff. And I was like, oh man. I always knew the answers because I always studied hardcore before we went into it, and but it was just unnecessary for me, at least. I felt like, it's like, why are you always asking these things? How
I
many
don't,
times do I have to prove myself? Just, and then he thought I was like having an absolute, how do you say, absolute hearing or something, when you can
connection
perfect pitch.
meltdown.
That's what it's called. Yeah, perfect pitch.
A what?
Perfect pitch.
Oh,
When you
like the movie.
define, no, when you can define a note just by hearing it, like somebody plays a note on the piano without an interval, just one note, and you can say, oh, that's a D4 or
That's
something.
that's what perfect pitch means. I didn't know that.
I'm not sure if it's the right term, but there's
I
something
did,
out there. Some people
no,
could have.
I didn't know that was an actual term. I thought that was just the name of. I thought that was just the movie, the name they were using in that movie, that comedy about the acapella group.
No, I
If I
just
don't know, if you've seen an American movie about the acapella group. It's like 3
yeah,
movies.
yeah, but I don't know. I don't know if that's the correct term, but I'm pretty sure it's the right term. So it's actually a thing. So people can
Um,
hear frequencies, so they can hear instruments or just like a hertz off or something. Because everything is around A with 440 hertz, and if it's like a bit off, they can detect it just by hearing it, and that's pretty cool. But it's also torturing. So, and then he was always asking me, "Are you sure you don't have perfect pitch?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm sure I don't have it." He was like, "Are
but
you sure?" I'm like, "Yeah, I don't have it," because I was pretty good in other subjects. So everybody was assuming, every other teacher, because I was a good student, that I was good at their subject too. But I just, like physics, I just sometimes I was like, no, chemistry, I was good, but physics, no.
not all academic subjects translate over each other. Like you might be good at something, but that doesn't translate to every academic subject.
Yeah, so
Unfortunately, I wish. But let me look at some of the comments. So Tara says all women are beautiful. I completely disagree with that because Lizzo isn't. Yeah, I'm sorry. Lizzo isn't beautiful, and I can name like literally
it was
hundreds
beautiful.
of women I find ugly. So that's not true.
It's like, it's about symmetry, basically. That's what it comes down to. If you have the most symmetrical, or I don't know, but scientifically, I think what we think is
Yeah,
beautiful.
yeah, yeah. So yeah,
Symmetry.
you're referring to like the facial beauty is defined by bilateral symmetry.
Yeah,
Um, but even beyond that, like
and
uh,
maybe personal, like what you grow up with, like the stuff that you find people beautiful that look similar to your mom or something. I don't know.
well, that's a whole Freudian
Not
thing.
bad.
That, but
Not
so
sure though. Not sure, but I just.
speaking of Freudian, so if you look
Oh,
at Salty Whiteman's latest comment, this is why I was saying he's on the schizo spectrum, because what he's saying it's just something normal people don't say. He says, "I work for a very important place in America," allegedly. Uh, I've just been cruising the live streams to warn you. Will wish you listen to me if you want your channel to blow. Talk about what's really going on. So this is the rantings of someone who's schizophrenic. Again, because I'm trained
I
in
don't think.
psychology, I know someone who's mentally unhinged when I see comments like this. This is someone who's mentally unhinged. And look at his avatar. It's a it's an image of an eyeball staring. Like he's mentally unhinged.
Big
There's a lot
brother.
of mentally unhinged people on YouTube and other social media platforms who use social media to in place of getting professional help. This is one of these people. Salty Whiteman needs professional help. I'm
Oh,
pretty sure he's somewhere on the schizophrenic spectrum
why would you think that?
because his paranoid is he's given paranoid comments. So the
Okay.
paranoia schizophrenia fall on a spectrum, and this is
Well,
performance of someone who displays that sort of disposition towards it. Schizotypal personality.
oh well, I met actually schizophrenic people in my life who got diagnosed, and they were
Well, yeah.
different.
So there's a spectrum, right? So with people who have um, different psychopathologies like schizophrenia, like on one end, you might just have someone who has schizophrenic tendencies. Like they might just say stuff that's like bizarre. Like schizophrenia is defined by people who have like disorganized thoughts and behavior.
Hmm.
And so on the modest end, you might just have someone who, maybe sometimes has schizophrenic tendencies, like they have bizarre or off-putting thoughts. That person can still function normally in most regards. But then it becomes more serious when they have like a schizotypal personality disorder. Well, it's not considered a disorder anymore, but a schizotypal personality is someone who often displays these sort of bizarre thoughts, but otherwise can normally function. It gets bad when you get into like people who have full-blown schizophrenia from different times. So you have disorganized schizophrenia ones, where people just having all sorts of like random, weird, off-putting, bizarre thoughts. And then you have paranoid schizophrenia, which are people who believe someone's coming to get them, that they're hearing thoughts in their heads, things like that. Then there's
anybody who was diagnosed with it in person in your life yet?
I have an uncle with it.
Oh, okay.
Then there's a third form, catatonic schizophrenia. Catatonic schizophrenics are people who don't move, like they'll stay frozen in very awkward positions because to them the world is moving so fast around them, and they try to stay still to keep some sort of normalcy. So you'll see them like often like stuck in like awkward positions because in their mind everything is racing around them. And then there's a fourth type, which is like a atypical schizophrenia, which has sort of a combination of symptoms from the other three types. But this person is displaying like disorganized, bizarre thoughts. Like he's talking about shit that has nothing to do with what we're talking about on this stream. Like it's weird and it's off-putting. And you have, like I said, unfortunately, social media attracts a lot of people who are mentally unhealthy because it's easier for them to just it's easier for them to just cater to their unhealthy thoughts and behaviors online than to actually seek professional help. And this guy is someone who needs help. Like I can tell. Like I can't armchair diagnose him and say exactly what he has, but he's on the spectrum of people who have some sort of thought disorder. So that's all.
So I disagree. We don't find it funny, to be honest, but it's okay. I'm not gonna argue. But to me, it's
disagree.
Actually.
No, it's fine. You can disagree. I was just saying, like, being a psychology nerd, I can tell when someone is having bizarre thoughts. Like, I mean, everyone has random thoughts here and there, but like to come on here to talking about the end of the world and stuff like that. This is typical of people who have on the schizophrenia spectrum. Like I said, if you watch Ghostbusters, these were the people who were like the nutsos that they were saying, we don't believe like these people are seeing ghosts and stuff because these people are mentally unglued.
And I've seen demons myself, so I think the spiritual realm is very real because I experienced it, and I wasn't on any drugs.
I'm not denying the.
That's my personal.
Oh, I'm not denying the spiritual realm because, like saying Ghostbusters, the ghosts were real. What I was saying was, like in the movies, like because they were parapsychologists. And that's actual thing, by the way, because Duke University actually has a whole program for like parapsychology. But
really,
Duke University actually has a program to learn parapsychology. But what I was saying is like normally what they want to ascertain is whether these people are suffering from any mental illnesses, and so they'll ask them, are they hearing things? Like, so one of the biggest symptoms is someone says that they hear things, right? Have these sort of delusions, and
at one point, but yeah, it wasn't a delusion, but I can go. That was not.
No, it was funny. It goes too. And one question, like Dr. Venkman asked asked you. I'm guessing you never watched Ghostbusters. You gotta watch it, bro. It's
I
really
I
good.
heard a lot, but I never seen it. I think no.
Uh,
No.
yeah. So, and one of the questions he asked the lady, he was like, "Are you currently suffering from TMS, something like that?" And
Oh,
and the librarian was like, he was like, "What does that have to do with seeing ghosts?" He's like, "Back off, man. I'm a doctor." No, he said, "Back off, man. I'm a scientist." It was so hilarious. But I get what he was saying because he was, asking them like questions like, have they ever done drugs? Are they currently high? Um, do they have history of mental disorder? Stuff like that to make sure that like they can give like um like authentic eyewitness testimony to like seeing these apparitions or the ghosts and stuff like that in the movie. And like I said, at one point he even asked this movie the woman, was she like on her, like suffering from PMS or something like that, because there
yeah.
actually is the uh in the diagnostic for mental disorders. Um
PMS.
yeah, well there's a
If you
no
say PMS,
there's
is a
no
mental
there's a
dis-
more no there's a more severe version of PMS that actually is categorized as a mental health problem. It's
it's cause it, but
it's
the
called it's like, I think it's
is
called dysmenorrhea or something like that. But
dysmenorrhea is when you don't have your period anymore. That's not PMS.
oh, I'm forgetting what the term is, but so there's a it's a more serious form of it that is actually considered a mental health disorder. Because I don't have my other phone up, I can't look it up. But
That's
there's
interesting.
there's a more serious form. So I get why he was asking her the question, but it was hilarious in the movie. Like everyone laughed because
But it's kind of weird because usually, I'm a woman and I suffer from it. So I'm not
well, yeah,
suffering from
not
it.
but
So the
but
cause,
again, this
cause
isn't
now
even PMS. This is something that's considered like a much worse. So, like for instance,
can cause mental issues, but it's like depression and all that. But you don't cause schizophrenic from PMS.
so like for instance, like there's a depressive disorder that comes about during changing of the seasons.
Yeah.
um, Seasonal affective disorder, or SAD.
Uh,
It's a sort of depression that happens with the changing of the seasons.
yes.
Because sometimes people do get the blues during the winter and stuff like that, but there's an actual a mental health disorder that is actually tied into that, or
Okay.
how some women after they have children have postpartum depression.
Yes. Yes, that's
So
the thing. But it's
that
it's due to hormonal changes mostly of the
so
time.
it's all in the it's in the degree of it's in the intensity
Okay.
of these sort of problems. So, like I said, there's a stronger form of PMS that is actually categorized as a mental health disorder, not regular PMS. That's a normal thing.
Not
It's something
normal
completely different.
to have PMS like that. It's not normal actually, I think, because
For some
my
women.
experience is that it comes down to your diet. And
Mhm.
if your diet and your gut is not healthy and not working properly, it can cause all sorts of pains and stuff. Like for me, it did. And now I definitely know the difference. So, because I've been through a lot physically, mentally, medically. So, I know how my body felt before and how things were not nearly as painful. And then since I rapidly changed my diet, I don't have any pain anymore. And the depression, everything is just gone. So it got more and more severe with different foods, and then that caused the inflammation and flare up, and then everything got worse and worse and worse. And I was like, I know I'm not depressed. I know this is not me. I know this is just coming out of nowhere. I have no reason. It's I've been doing good, and then all of a sudden, and it got really bad. And so I know now why. And then since ever, like I cut sugars, I'm no carb, nothing, because it helps with my whole body to fight off what is going on.
Mhm.
Um, all the pain went away from one day to another. Everything. I couldn't stand. I had pain in my legs. Everything. It was so severe. My back hurt. My kidneys hurt and stuff. My kidney. Why would my kidney hurt when it's a
Yeah,
totally different organ? And now it doesn't hurt anymore because everything just it doesn't feed it because it just changed. So it's definitely something to consider because your hormones also depend on that. And So I think it really has a lot of factors in that too. What you eat, and then how your body gets affected by it, and your hormone levels, and how much body fat you are as well. So a whole different. And endometriosis is a thing too. I don't have it. I met people who suffered from it. That can
Mm.
cause severe problems too. So it's a big topic. Very off topic, but important to
No,
talk
it's
about.
fine.
Very
So,
important.
well, and to your point, that's what I don't know if you remember this live stream when I was talking about how people miscategorize psychosomatic disorders. Even doctors themselves get it wrong. So people often, when they're talking about something that causes pain but's not real, they say, "Oh, that's just psychosomatic."
Oh
And
yeah.
I was like, actually, no, they got it incorrect. So
It,
when they're
it's the body that causes most. It's mostly the body that causes the mental.
so
At least and many other people too. So
what I was saying, like, so some of those problems you were saying, like, those can be psychosomatic, where so the correct classification of psychosomatic disorders are actually actual medical disorders that cause psychological distress. And so, like, a lot of medical problems can cause people psychological distress, like cancer or um, endometriosis or ulcers and stuff like that. Like,
yeah,
those are actual medical problems, but they cause psychological distress. But when people say psychosomatic, what they're actually referring to are somatoform disorders, which is the opposite. Somatoform disorders are psychological problems which exhibit physical symptoms. So,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
so when people say it's all in your head, they're actually referring to somatoform disorders. And most people get it wrong. Even physicians sometimes they get it wrong.
It gets me so mad. It gets me so mad when doctors say, "Oh, it's all in your head." It's because I've heard that, and I was sent away a couple of times, and I was like, "No, I know it's something physical," and I
It's
was
both.
right. I was right all along, and nobody believes you. You just getting treated like a nutcase or something, and or just they send you away with the sentence, "Oh, we can't do anything anymore for you." I heard that a couple times. It's very devastating when you're like close to dying and you tried everything, and it just, "Oh, we can't diagnose you, we can't help you, we don't have anything to offer."
and
Um,
and and pain is a physical thing anyway, because like pain is literally the firing of C fibers. So you can't tell someone that the pain that they're feeling isn't real. Like that's
I heard that. I heard that, and some. Yeah, I don't know if you into that or if you heard about that, but especially when you talk to people who are like into New Age and all that stuff, and they're like, "Oh, just don't think about it. It will disappear. Just
I don't
don't
talk
think
to those
about
nuts. I don't deal with those nuts. Like
it."
I'm a
Crazy.
very I'm a
Are you?
hard nosed skeptic. So
No,
I'm a I'm a very hard nosed skeptical person. So like a lot of these new age people, I don't take them seriously.
I'm not into that either. But the pain scale method is still ridiculous.
Yeah, I don't even know what the pain scale method is, but like I said, you can't. Pain is inherently um, pain is something that's inherently
The
subjective.
individual.
So you can't tell someone that they're not in pain. Like if someone says they're in pain, then they're in pain. Like
Oh yeah, believe.
what a doctor can say is that there's only what the doctor can say is physical there's no medical cause for the pain. That's what they can tell you, but they can't tell you that there is no pain. Like if you're experiencing pain, you're
Oh, they
experiencing
told me
pain.
that before. You can't have pain. We don't see anything on the ultrasound. I've heard that a couple times.
Right. So so yeah.
Every-
Doctors are sometimes kind of stupid with that. Like they'll say, "Well, you shouldn't be experiencing pain." What they should be saying is that you can't find a medical reason for your pain. That's what they should be saying. But that could be the reason why someone could be suffering a lot of pain and there's no medical cause is because they might have neuropathy. They might have neuropathy.
Yeah, neuropathy is a thing too, but there's always a cause, I would say, because if you do some proper research and you realize how things are intertwined and interlinked in your body, actually, which is crazy. I told them the doctor like last week. I called him and I was like, I have these and these symptoms because he was like, "Yeah, do you have any symptoms?" And I was like, "Yeah, on my skin and here and there," and he was like, "Oh, that can't be coming from that." And I was like, "Sure, it is coming from that."
See,
Are you
this is
crazy?
why.
Like
See,
it's obvious.
So this is why in like clinical psychology and in psychiatry,
It's
there's
terrible.
this move to biopsychosocial interpretation, where we look at the causes of people's like pain or psychological distress from both a biological, psychological, and social um, like interface, like how these three things are relating to each other, and and so far as how this person is suffering like any sort of problems in their lives, whether it's like psychological pain, physical pain, or other sorts of things, right? Any other sort of suffering. But for a doctor to say, "Oh, you shouldn't be in pain," like I'm like, hello, I'm in here. I'm the one suffering. So how you gonna tell me I'm not in pain? This this is
Also,
this is similar to what I was saying on the live stream a few weeks ago when I was saying how I discovered the cause of my own ulcer.
yeah, I remember that. The
So
Helicobacter that caused
so
the ulcer.
so when
I
so
agree.
back so
Agree.
until like 99 2000, they didn't know what caused ulcers. So people would say it's from eating grease. People had all sorts of like anecdotal reasons for people having ulcers. They say, "Oh, you're just eating a bad diet. You're eating greasy food." My father used to say dumb shit like that. He was like, "Oh, you just need to eat better." I'm like, "I'm a kid. I'm only eating what you people give me. Like, what are you talking about?" Or he,
Mm.
he was like, "Oh, you're stressed out about school." I'm like, my
That's
stresses in
bad.
school,
Are you stressed
my,
about school?
my stresses in school is no more different than anyone else. If it was caused by stress from school, then pretty much everyone in South Korea should have an ulcer.
Yeah,
Like
it's
if you know if you know how rigid the education is there, like how you're supposed to study all day long and only get like 4 hours of sleep so that you can pass your exams to get into a university in South Korea. All of them should have ulcers by his definition. Or he
yeah.
would or he
What I'm
was or he would
about.
just say or he would just say or he would just say, "Oh, you have a nervous stomach," and stuff like that. And so from 13 until 21, I suffered it. And it wasn't until I read, luckily, again, this the advantages of being a nerd. But luckily, I read that there was a guy who had just won a Nobel Prize in in biology and medicine, who had discovered that the cause of peptic ulcers, stomach ulcers, was
Mhm.
actually um, a bacteria in your
Yeah,
stomach called H. pylori.
yeah, I know.
And so yeah, so I went to the clinic at my college, and I said, I'm suffering from ulcers. I was like, I'm wondering, does it have anything to do with this thing I've heard about H. pylori, this bacteria? And the doctor was like, she was like, well, let's check, let's see if you have it. And she checked, and she was like, yeah, you're actually right. She was like, she said, you have this infection in your stomach. She said, here's a antibiotic, take this, and within a few weeks it should be gone. So I took the antibiotic as the doctor told me, and I've never had an ulcer since.
Yeah,
So
I was being treated for bowel cancer for months with vomiting and poop. Oh my goodness. I diagnosed it as depression when I was in a diabetic ketosis.
diabetes, not cancer. Yeah, yeah. So
Oh,
you get misdiagnosed. For my my,
uh,
I have clinical depression. That was misdiagnosed when I was in college too, because originally I thought it was ADHD.
oh my gosh.
And so the psychiatrist was like, "All right, so here's some Ritalin,
Oh gosh.
and here's some Concerta. Concerta is the long form of Ritalin. It's like the 12-hour version. So he was like, take this, and basically, if it works, you have ADHD. If it doesn't work, you don't have it. Because
Oh, CP, I feel you, man. They almost killed me a couple times too with wrong treatment and stuff. With negligence, pure negligence too. Yeah, I totally get it. It's terrible. It's very traumatizing too, in some way. I mean, I think it depends what kind of state you're in, but I guess I was so full of medication, I didn't even realize how close to death I was. I just knew I was not in a good, not in good state, and yeah, it was the hospital that messed me up definitely. I mean, I think since then everything got just downhill because before that I didn't have any of the issues, and then it spiraled everything. So when doctors make a couple of mistakes and basically leave you out on your own, and then you're the one to have to figure out what actually is going on inside your body, which is not easy because you can't like put instruments into your body. I
Yeah,
mean,
people are very bad at
but it's not that easy.
yeah, people are very bad at self-diagnosis. That's why even doctors don't diagnose themselves.
Not always. After some time, you get a pretty good feel what's wrong with your body, and an intuitive thing too. And I actually was pretty close to my correct diagnostic thing more than doctors. And some doctors are actually willing to look into it, but then they get smashed down or like by higher ups because they're like, oh yeah, that can't be. You have no right to look into that or do that test and that. And that's something that I experienced too. That made me really mad because that
maybe
somebody's trying to look into it, they get knocked down by higher ups sometimes or often.
Maybe you can explain how your medical condition put your music on hiatus. Like,
oh yeah, I can. It's a long story though, but
that's why we're here.
actually, the thing is, the medical problems. First of all, CDP. I'm glad we're all here still. Oh yeah, I'm very happy too, man. I 100% agree. Grateful every day to be still alive because sometimes we don't even know how close we come to death's door. Sometimes you feel it when you're actively dying. I had that situation before, but yeah, sometimes you're just completely unaware. So yeah, but how my music got put on hiatus, I don't know where to begin, but my medical condition gave me the time to go into music and pursue it and actually write music a lot because I couldn't go to university anymore, couldn't go to work. I did everything until I was literally in pain all the time when I went to any job that I did. So I really forced myself through it, and at one point I was like, I can't take it anymore. I was just suffering more and more and more, and so that's what actually got me the time to make music. And then because of constant infections, like UTIs and stuff from a big surgery on my colon and everything, all the antibiotics caused a fungus to overgrow and spread throughout my whole body. And then it inflamed my throat and I lost my voice and I was in constant pain. Right now, I'm not in so much pain, but I'm really battling it, and it became resistant because they treated it twice, but just short term, and just because I had another surgery coming up because I had close to 20 surgeries almost, which came from a mess up in the other surgery, in the colon surgery. So they hurt the ureter, I think, not the urethra, the ureter, and then it scarred up, and then they had to put it like tubing in, and then the tubing got infected, and then they put in metal and had to change it. So all the antibiotics killed my system, my immune system, everything. And since the symptoms were just kind of random, they got misdiagnosed for very long, and I was suffering and saw countless doctors and yeah, every clinics and all sorts of things. And then it got so bad that I couldn't talk even anymore. Because everything is just, the throat was inflamed, my thyroid, everything. I don't know how bad it is right now, but I was spitting blood at times and it never got taken seriously. So yeah, and then my laptop battery died and it's very expensive to replace it.
Oh, I know.
Otherwise, I would have probably reported more, and also because I don't know how contagious I am to myself right now. When you sing into a microphone and everything, it's hard to disinfect or to clean up. So I was like, okay, I better stay away from it until I know what I'm dealing with, and until I'm heading to the hospital actually tomorrow morning very early.
You told me, right? So, so you were able to write music. You just weren't able to perform music.
Both. I want to do both. So it's like I miss it because it's just my mental outlet. It helps so much with your mental problems when you're just dealing with something. You can let it out, and I'm so excited about a lot of music. I played a lot of it actually at concerts that I haven't released because the footage was terrible and the show was just I was not in a good state. I was sleep deprived, and I had to help out family members and nobody would help. So I was like running on 2 hours of sleep, and with the inflammation, it makes everything so much worse. Um, yeah, so I was basically torturing myself to do anything to to be present and get everything done, and I was just feeling worse and worse. And then a couple months ago I got so sick just from some person. I was on a part, not a party, but a get together, and did some filming there, and um with music friends, and it was fun, but somebody was sick and then it almost killed me. It was just a normal like viral infection basically, and COVID didn't wasn't nearly as bad for some reason. So that was easy compared to that. And then I was feeling like I was dying. I was sick for months, and then more antibiotics to treat the on top infection. And it's different kind of infection. So my body is constantly in a state of fighting and fighting and fighting. So please add some links and ping it. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, if she wants to provide some of the videos,
Thank you so much,
because you
CDP.
have some good videos, by the way. So yeah, any of the ones you want to give me, I'll put them after I upload this. But I can't do it live,
Yeah, it's okay. Don't worry. You
because
can.
this is a mobile live stream. So the mobile live streams have less functionality than
Okay, don't worry about it.
the other ones. But he also said you're a warrior. I'm happy to see you again. I've been around for a minute, and you're inspiring.
I never realized he's been around for a minute. I think I saw your handle sometimes. I've been around for a bit. I mean, not as long as you probably. I don't know. I just found your channel just recently, so I don't know.
Yeah.
You never know.
So, but yeah, we can definitely share some of your stuff. That's why I was asking you before we started the live for
Hmm.
your YouTube handle, so that people, like, when they click on the title, they can actually click directly on your. It can take them directly to your channel.
Yeah,
Because luckily that was something YouTube changed
I think.
last year, that now you can add someone directly in, like, your title, so that you don't have to leave a link in the description to go to their channel. So, like, if you're mentioning someone, or replying to someone, or anything like that, where you're, like, referring to another content creator on YouTube, you
Yeah,
can just add them in the title of your video, and people can go directly to it.
yeah. It's a good and a bad thing, but yeah, I mean, you can just type in my name and you will find it. I think there's nobody else with that handle name. It actually came from my sick journey, and people always think, oh, you're a druggie or something. My name, and they're always like, oh, is it because of that? No, I was
I
just
would never I actually
hospital.
never made that connection. I
Really, that's the first thing people jump to. I mean, it's not too far off because I was on intravenous heavy medication for a long time. So,
oh,
say your
I never even thought of that until now.
it's Miss Needle with an underscore, like Miss underscore Needle, and then 3502. I think that's my handle. I have to
Yeah,
change it now with the
it's
number.
also
The
it's
number.
also on the title CDP, so you can click directly on it. Like, if you go to the title of this video, you should be able to click directly on her at,
Yeah,
um, and it'll take you to her channel.
yeah, it's okay. You will
So,
find it.
here's another troll, another weirdo. So
That one I can see. That one I would say is definitely one. Sure. I don't even know
this
what he or she.
who even knows? It's just some weirdo. It's probably either
I'll forget
it's,
for
it's
evidence.
either it's either a child or it's a retarded adult. That's
I've seen some crazy weird people in other chat rooms. That's
I,
really
I
crazy.
don't take them seriously.
Yeah, no, but I've seen some wild, wild stuff. Very, very horrible things being said in other chat rooms, like very insulting, and yeah, not towards me, but
Yeah.
you get,
Well, I get them, but like I said, I don't take them seriously, because I'm
yeah,
I'm
but
I-
if it,
I'm a
yeah,
I'm a red for me, I'm a red-blooded guy, so at the end of the day, if I know you can't beat me up, then I can't take you seriously. Like, I'm not gonna take I can't take a troll seriously who can't beat my ass. Like, unless you can beat my ass, I can't take you seriously. Like, at the end of the day, you can say whatever you want online, but I know that I can beat your ass, so I can't take you seriously. That's my mindset. I don't. I'm not trying to be like Anderson Tate or anything like that, but I mean
Oh, yeah.
Andrew Tate. I'm sorry, Andrew Tate, but I kind of agree with him on some things. Like at the end of the day, if you can't kick my ass, I have no reason to take you seriously. Like, I don't care what they say.
You know, I've been bullied all my life, so like not all my life, but all in school, all the time, and like even since kindergarten, I was always an outsider. So I don't know. I don't pay no mind, and I forgave all the people. Actually, like I think you have to forgive.
He said, "I know Miss Needle, but her at should be pinned." I'll do that on the when it's uploaded. So again, this is guys, a mobile live stream is different than your they don't understand. So there's different types of live streams you can do on YouTube. This is a mobile live stream where you can do other types of live streams. Like there's even an app that I can use because my very first live stream I told you with the girl named Glam Lux, it's an app where it has full functionality, so you can do a lot of stuff. But it's not something I can do on the mobile live stream. So I can't add things into the chat like pin. Like if she has,
I've seen it in other streams too, so it's totally
I
fine.
can actually pin your comment when you came back in, so people can find it that way.
Oh yeah, that's fine.
I can pin that message.
I'm like, I don't know, I'm pretty like if somebody likes it, it's okay. If somebody doesn't want to check it out, it's fine too. Really. So yeah, that's cool with me.
So yeah, so I pinned that, but as far as but yeah, as far as like the other stuff, like I said, if you want like any specific videos, I can put that in the description after I upload this.
Oh, Mrs. Contrarian is in the background. Is she? But she's not. She's not around. She's in the background, like in the.
I noticed looking after your grandma, J.A.C. respect. Also know Miss Train is in the background. Well, she's not here right now. She's Betty by. She's asleep.
She's sleeping.
So she said she's gonna check this out when she later on.
I would have told her if she was awake. I would have like discussed her about music and stuff. Nerded around.
We can do a feature live stream when it's all three of us. I'm sure she wouldn't mind.
Yeah, I think
it'll probably have to be on the weekend though, because during the week.
I don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
During the week, she's like super busy.
Yeah,
but yeah, people definitely want to do one. Moonlit Fern wants to do one with his wife as well in Thailand.
So, I'd be excited to see.
Because he wants his wife to meet Mrs. Contrarian. So I was like, that's cool.
Wednesday, isn't they?
This is hump day. Do they say that in Germany too? Hump day?
I thought it was Thursday.
Well, no. So like we
like
in the U.S. we say Wednesday is hump day because it's like you're getting over the hump of the beginning of the week to the end of the week.
Oh,
so they call it hump day.
I was wondering that weird name. I was like, is it some sexual kind of thing, or where is it coming from?
No, hump as in like you getting over the hump. Like Monday and Tuesday is like the beginning of the week. Wednesday is the hump because that's the middle of the week, and Thursday and Friday is the end.
That is so crazy. I never knew where it's coming from. I was like, why do you have such weird names?
Yeah, it's like, because there's like, a lot of jokes about it. Sometimes they can be sexual, but mostly it's referring to like it being the middle of the week, and this is like the part of the week where everyone's like tired because they just want the week to be over.
Yeah. CDP, are you military too? Have you been in the army or something? Or are you still in? No, probably not. But sounds like it.
He might be. He might have been. I'm not sure. Yeah. He has a rough point in the army. It's over the hill midway. So yeah. I thought he's ex-military. Yeah.
Thank you for your service.
So he's a veteran. I thought he was a veteran too. But yeah, for me, Wednesday has never been the worst day. To me, it's Tuesday. For me, I hate Tuesday. Like, I don't know. I never understood why people hated Wednesdays. For me, it was Tuesday because like Tuesday is like you're still at the beginning of the week. Still got 3 more days to go, so it sucks. I always hated Tuesday, not
Um,
Wednesday.
I
Wednesday,
don't
at
say it.
least Wednesday, you're halfway through
I never understood people don't like Monday.
because they hate their jobs.
Yeah, but the thing is, even when I was still working, I'm people like, you know, you always hear, oh, the new generations, they don't want to work, they're just lazy, or they don't see the point in working because the wages are terrible or whatever.
But you
And
know
I'm
what? The
so
whole
I would be so happy if I could contribute in any way right now, because it makes me really sad actually, because I enjoyed the jobs, like not all of them, but one of them was actually very cool, and the customers were so awesome, and I had so much fun. I mean, my colleagues did not all get along as well,
well, it's
and it
not.
stuff, but it was never true. I proved I was not guilty. Like, some just didn't like it, because I was friendly, I guess, to all the customers. So always they came always to me and asked me stuff, and not to them, even though they worked there for very long, and I was just doing it part time, or like I think Christmas time or something, and then yeah, when I left, they were like, "Oh, did you steal that and stuff? And did you steal the key?" And I'm like, "No, I never
Uh,
stole anything. I can prove. You can prove it. I never stole it. I never did. I never did anything wrong." But
so,
sometimes,
so I think CDP was Marines because he says First Battalion,
oh,
First
cool.
Para.
5.
Uh,
My goodness, happy you're still alive, man.
yeah, so he looked like he was an infantry grunt in the Marines.
Where did you go?
5 deployments, multiple operations, but that's just the past. No, that's impressive, dude. Because I didn't get
Five
to go to the field because of my medical condition.
England, not America.
Oh,
Oh,
England. I'm sorry. So were you part of the Royal Army or the Royal Marines?
that'd be cool. That'd be awesome to talk to somebody like that. I saw like some documentaries
But
about them.
but yeah, it's not that people hate working; it's they hate their job. That's what Mondays is all about. Because it's like I made this joke a long time ago on my Facebook, and I was like, "Army, okay, that's what's up." So because
That's
I was
cool.
because I was like I made a joke on Facebook a long time ago, and I was like, people like it depends on your job whether you hate Mondays. So I was like, I'm pretty sure no porn star gets up on Monday and says, "Oh boy, here we go again." Like that doesn't happen for a male porn star. Like that's they, they,
I
they're not
think
dreading they're not
things
dreading Mondays.
people like that too, actually. Because being a porn star takes a big toll on you.
I know. I'm just saying as a joke. I'm just saying as a joke. It's a
Oh, okay.
favorable job.
Yeah,
Like
it's not true, actually,
you
necessarily.
get to bust nuts for a living. Like that's favorable to actually going to work in an assembly line in a warehouse on a Monday. Like
Yeah,
two different things. Like I can go pop a blue chew and do my thing on a Monday. I would love that compared to working in the assembly line for like 10 hours at the Amazon warehouse.
the
So
thing is, it depends on your mental stuff, because I had a job that was mentally very, like, it wasn't engaging at all. It was just a job like that, basically. Not assembly line, but I was doing like super stupid stuff, and then your mind begins to wander off, and then you make mistakes because you just my brain is just like not there, because it's just so boring. So that was the thing, when you have a different job that is really like challenging or keeps you busy mentally, it's much more fun. It really, some people like maybe dull jobs, because
well, I was just saying like people don't
you can go like,
hate working. They just hate their particular jobs because a lot of people have jobs that suck because there's a common trope where older people always say, "Oh, people just don't want to work today." But when you look at that comment, that's actually people have been leaving that comment since the 1800s. Like if you look at newspapers from the 1800s, there were old people saying, "Oh, these people just don't want to work anymore," and literally people have been saying that for like the last 200 years. So
yeah,
boomers aren't saying anything new, which is common for boomers anyway. But boomers aren't saying anything new. Like they're saying, "Oh, you guys just don't want to work anymore. Everybody wants to be a TikToker, a YouTuber, an Instagrammer." I'm like, okay, boomer. Like, no. So,
battery is going low. I will
uh
try.
oh.
Yeah.
CDP is Crimson Beret. Is that the British equivalent
I'm gonna put my
to the
phone in.
Green Beret here?
Hold on, please. Is it hot?
Is your battery okay?
I
Or
tried charge it. I hope it's not gonna die.
If so,
But,
we can always pick this up another time.
yeah, try. Wait. Oh goodness, I'm too far away from the charger.
He
Wait.
says, "I see beauty in and strength in everything now." Yeah, Crimson Beret.
Loading. Let me see. No, it's not loading again. We have the same issue. Okay, it's draining fast. It's too fast.
That's no problem. So if you gotta go, we'll just continue this another day. I appreciate you coming to my channel.
Sorry, I would have still had time, but yeah, it's 6%. It's gonna die pretty soon.
No problem. So once we get off, tell me if there's any particular videos you want me to load so that I can share those in the description.
Probably one of my live shows, maybe.
Okay, excellent. Like
whatever you think, or your personal preference. I don't really. Not gonna.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna message you on Instagram just to make sure, like when I upload it, because I'm gonna leave a link. I'm gonna leave a link in my description to your channel, and then I'm gonna load whichever videos you want me to show on there, so they can check that out.
Yeah. CDP content divide. Oh yeah, I agree. Age old, still holds true.
Oh, he says good luck at the doctor's.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Yeah, CDP is one of the people who's been rocking with me for a long time now, so I appreciate his support.
How long has he been around?
At least a couple of months now, since I've been doing live streams, pretty much.
That's cool.
Yeah.
One of the regulars. Is he one of the regulars? No.
Mm-hmm. At least when I do it this time, because the problem was when I was doing it too late, I was like, some of my regulars weren't available late at night, and then some of the people who are available late at night aren't available during the day. Like my friend Marcus, who went to me with Jollibees, he's usually only available to watch him at nighttime. But at that time, I didn't want to go him at night because I tried to get up early to work out, and my schedule was messed up for the last several weeks.
Yeah, I understand it. We all all over the place, and then it gets hard to get everyone together at once, or find a spot, and then somebody is there, somebody's not, and things get crazy.
That's a common issue with content creation, especially when you're dealing with people on different sides of the world. Like everyone has different schedules, and so yeah, it's hard to try to get stuff together that everyone can agree on a time. So that's why I say I appreciate you being able to do this, because I know
it's okay. I think maybe we can squeeze in that last question, but I think you wanted to ask about my music video editing or something.
Well,
you said something along the lines. I'm not saying you have to.
No,
but what was it?
I was asking what videos did you want me to add to the
No, I'm not talking about right now. But you said it I think
earlier.
In about this editing, because I said I do all the editing myself and stuff, and yeah, because I was like, oh yeah, well.
Easy. A lot of times I just lurk too, because some fools just troll. Absolutely. And so I left I actually left a poll question in my community tabs, and I asked people, do they think I'm being too hard on the trolls? Should I go, or should I be harder on the trolls, or should I just ignore them? So 50% of the people say I should just ignore them. Then 33% say I should actually go harder at them.
Share your editing knowledge next stream. Oh yeah, I would love to.
Yeah, that would be good.
It's actually really funny because people actually, the people who also did the comics, I talked about that I know some people who brought out a full-on comic. I'm not like famous people, but they're a band in Australia, and maybe I meet them next year, depends. And I did actually cover artwork for them for a single. I did some photo shoot for them. So, and then they recently asked me about video editing for music video, and I was like helping them out. So it was kind of funny.
Yeah, when I first saw your videos on your channel, and I'm not exaggerating, like it looked like the quality of stuff that I used to see like on MTV back in the 90s, like some of the rock videos that they used to have like in the 90s on MTV. I'm like, this is good. Like I was like, wow. I was like, there's no way you should only have 221 subscribers.
It's actually not. It's actually funny because a lot of it comes from how you shoot things. A lot of things happen in camera, so you don't do a lot of post editing. Even if it looks like it, like lighting and stuff. Okay, my phone is gonna die. I'm gonna be
Okay,
gone.
well, we can pick this up later. At least it gave us a warning that this is about to
My
end.
phone is warning, sir.
All right, well, talk to you later. We'll pick it up the next time. So, guys, that was Miss Needle. I, her handle should be in my title, and I'm gonna leave a link to her channel in my description, as well as her doing a live show, and you guys can check that out. Appreciate it. Um, I think a lot of people are gonna see this when I upload it on the replay. Appreciate you, CDP, for coming in again. He says, "Looks so professional, old school. Blew my mind. It was just you." Sub, by the way, have been for a minute. Yeah, she has some good content, man. So yeah, I'm gonna end it here though. I appreciate it, and I pinned her comment so that people can click on that too, if when they see this. But thanks again, guys. I'm gonna end it here. Appreciate it.